We are live, man. What is going on with everybody? It is your boy Eric, aka Young God, coming to you live in the Green Dungeon today, giving it to you real all rugged. And got somebody on the other line, man. I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Who we got here today, man?
What up, what up? The Super Sodiq Yusuff, UFC fighter in the featherweight class. It's nice to be here.
Hey, man, how you doing today, man?
Fantastic, can't complain. I'm done training, so now it's time to rest.
All right, man. So let me take a step back. So I've been casually following MMA for a little minute now, but now I'm just super into it, just combat sports in general. And I was in LA, and I was watching the Cormier and Stipe fight, looking at the card. It's funny because I turned down. Hold on, someone's calling me. I turned down going to a porn pool party to watch that. It was really weird. Like, homeboys went to a porn pool party. I was like, yeah, it's a little weird. I'm gonna let y'all have that. So I stayed to watch that. And yeah, man, I seen you whooping nigga ass, man. That's what I seen, man. I see you put these paws on a young man. This nigga nice right here, man. So let me do my research on him. And just been looking at your fights. You're fire. You are fire. Just have to let you know that off top before we get into this, man. You are definitely fire. And yeah, you are Nigerian, right?
Yeah. Born in Nigeria. I came here when I was 9. Was that your first show that you been to? Your first UFC show?
Oh no, I didn't go. I just watched it.
That was the first one you watched?
Yeah, I watched for it legally. Yeah. I watched it legally in LA on the computer.
Hey, I don't blame you. I was on the train before too, but now I pay for them all.
But no, I've never been to one. How is the atmosphere? Like, I'm pretty sure you've been. Have you been? I'm pretty sure you've been to one not fighting, right? Like, just as a fan.
Yeah. How's that? I've been to quite a few not fighting. It's completely different because it in person, you get to hear the punches and you can feel it. So it's a whole different feeling. It's also it's a little it's tense. It's a whole lot more tense. Sometimes watching it through the TV, it looks a lot more like martial arts and all that stuff. But in person, there's two people wrecking at the end of the day.
No, I feel that because now that I think about it, like when you look at fight videos, not even like organized fight videos, just like street fight videos on the internet, it's like, oh, that's crazy. But when you're really there, like watching a fight, it's like, oh, this nigga's knocked out. It's very intense. Exactly. So I can only imagine just two professionally trained fighters going at it. That has to be like crazy.
Yeah, the biggest part is the impact on the punches. Like that alone is worth the tickets to be there in person.
What's the one that you've been to in person that you remember, like a punch or just a sequence that you was like, that's insane, that you've seen up close?
Honestly, recently I do like a little bit of commentating on the side, and I did commentating for some amateur shows called Cowboy Fights, and it was just two amateurs going at it, and these dudes it was intense, There was like the blood was everywhere, and at the commentating table, you're like right there, so the blood is splattering everywhere, and that's the first time like I could smell like a human's blood, because like it wasn't like he had like a little bit of a cut. Like dude was like the whole mat was like drained of blood. You could smell the challenge, So that was the craziest one.
That's crazy. And I guess to kind of take it back a little bit, because I want to talk about you being Nigerian, but you are from the DMV. Are you were raised in the DMV, right?
Yeah. As soon as I touched down here, I came straight here, and I never left.
When did you leave Africa to come to DMV?
When I was 9.
When you were 9?
Yep.
Okay, so doing my research on that, I see that you're cool with another fellow DMV dude because I'm a big wrestling fan. You're cool with Leo Rush, I see.
Oh, yeah, that's our boy.
I was curious of how that relationship, like how y'all boys meet.
We're close in age, and y'all know Leo Rush, but we knew Lionel Green was the man back in the day on the wrestling circuit, and he always wrestled, like he did like the high school wrestling. He always did that just to like do like WWE, like that was his jump, And like I did wrestling to get to the UFC, so it's cool that we both like and from PG, like a lot of people they don't get to where we got to, especially like when you're coming up saying this is what you want to do and this is what you want to do. So when you see another guy that like he's chasing another like big dream just like you, it's easy to remember those guys, So I just never forgot him. I always knew him, and he was the same way he is in the WWE ring. he wrestled like that in real life too, and he was a monster, you know. So I always remembered him from school, and we both followed each other, like rising up through the ranks. So even when I was on like the local circuits of fighting of martial arts, I saw him on like the local circuits of doing the WWE thing, and it's just funny we just came up together.
It's crazy because you just told me something. I didn't know he did amateur wrestling. I didn't know. I thought he just did like the WWE stuff. I didn't know.
Don't sleep on Lionel, man. He was the man, yo. He was the man. Don't let the fake wrestling fool you. He got some skills for real.
Yeah, Leo might mess around and beat my ass, man. So let me be careful what I say about him. I ain't know that. My fault. You broke up.
Nah, I was saying for sure. Like if he didn't do the WWE, then I'm sure he'll be doing MMA too.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. And I seen you guys take a picture or whatever. Have you ever trained with him before?
Yeah. I trained with him. It wasn't that long ago because he was taking a little bit of time off wrestling. So he came up to the gym just to try out some martial arts. His wrestling is still there and everything, you know. Now it's just like we do a little bit more because we got like punching and all that stuff too. But he came and grappled. He did wrestling and he did jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like just to see. I'm not from the DMV. I'm from Florida. But just to watch with the DMV, it's like you guys got a movement in a lot of things, and just to see you coming up, see him coming up. I see he's doing a little music on the side, like you guys are doing some good stuff.
The music scene here is blowing up quick too, man.
Yeah.
Especially now, you just see like people from DMV dropping names left and right, like Corday, you know Rico Nasty.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So like little bits are just like dropping up. Like it's cool, man. It's like I think the people from like our generation growing up. Is like we saw like, man, there's nobody representing us, you know, so like it got us a little bit hungry.
For the DMV music scene in like the next 2-3 years, that rap scene finna blow up. Like that's finna be like, you know how people talk about Atlanta? I think DMV finna be up there with the Atlantas and you know that type of sound right there. That's crazy. Like, did you grow up listening to DMV music, or is this like a new scene to everybody?
Well, the thing is, the DMV music here was kind of like go-go when we was growing up, you know. It wasn't what it is now. It's like the people that are like our age now are the ones that started rapping like that. Everybody else is like making go-go bands. So like now it's like for me to catch the DMV music now is from knowing the younger kids at the gym. Like the young kids at the gym is what's introduced me to DMV music because all those guys are around my age.
Yeah. That's crazy. What are you listening to? Just like, not even just DMV. It could be DMV, but just like in your free time, motivating or whatever. What you listening to?
I'm stuck in a certain time period. Like not a time period, but like old school Kanye West is like. If you see in my fight, I always walk out to Kanye West. You know, so like he's on his head. You know, but back in the day, he was undeniable.
Was he in Nigeria? Because I know he was Africa for a minute. Where did he go in Africa?
I don't think he was in Nigeria. I remember him posting you know what, it might have been Nigeria.
I think so.
Yeah, now that you mention it, but I don't know if he was there or if he was just like at some type of concert for some Africans, you know?
Yeah.
But I do remember that video.
What is your favorite Kanye album since you're a Kanye fan?
Between College Dropout, it always switches. I have songs from like each different ones that I listen to, you know? And like I have songs that like at the gym, like they know me, but they're like, oh my god, here we go again, you know, because I'll play them jump out, you know, because back in the day he'll make you feel a certain type of way, you know, especially when he was I don't think he was an underdog, but he knew how to like tell an underdog story very well. So it's like those same couple songs I always go back through them. Like now I've been looping what's that song? Is him, Jay-Z and JIV. When it comes to being true, never let me down. Yeah. So like now that's the John that's looping, and then sometimes it'll be the glory. That John be the John that's looping, and I always come out to Power. I've been coming out to Power for like the past like five, 6 fights.
Yeah, Kanye definitely has like a selection of songs that I feel like that would be motivating to any like sports, you know, athlete or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So if you play basketball, football, MMA, or whatever. So yeah, I think that's interesting. I feel like I don't know, like I feel like more like MMA, UFC fighters, they don't really come out to Kanye like that. Like that's not a popular artist to come out to, is it?
Nah, let me think.
I'm trying to think of people that I've heard play Kanye. I can't really think of nobody. But
yeah, there's not that many of us. There's not that many of us. I know for sure. Right now, I'm the only one I can think about.
Yeah, that's surprising. But no, it was talking about the DMV, and I feel like everybody take over. But who is taking over right now is Nigerians, man. Y'all are taking over the UFC. Y'all about to have that shit looking like Wakanda, goddamn. Like y'all.
Man, hey, I've been saying that John forever, yo.
Man.
Like, cause the sport is built for us, you know. It's like people try to have like genetics ain't a thing, but it is a thing, you
Definitely.
know. And the only thing right now that I feel like is holding Africans back is just the coaching. That's why when you see all of us, the ones that like was able to find like good coaching positions, we just skyrocket through the sport. I've been saying it before. I was like, man, we're built for struggle because that's just in our nature. Like if you go back home, like I go home often, you know, and no matter how bad the situation is, you can't tell it in their expressions, you know, just because they're just built like that, they're resilient. And once you get the right type of coaching, that's all the sport is at the end of the day, man. It's just being able to grind. Because sooner or later, you are going to have to be the nail. And a lot of people aren't going to be in the nail. Everybody could be a hammer, but not everybody could be a nail, you know? So being able to grind and just having that durability, it takes you a long way.
No, that's a fact. I was talking to one of my homies about just UFC or whatnot, and he was like, yo, they're going to have to ban the Africans. He was like, they really finna take over. He was like, they finna start beating everybody. And I was like, bro, and I seen a picture you posted. It was like, it was four of y'all. I forget. I think it was like you, Kamaru Usman, and it was basically, yeah, and it was just basically showing like y'all record and like y'all past couple fights and whatnot. And it's like, bro, y'all are really finna take over. So you being an African, and I know a lot of Africans and whatnot. So you being an African that wasn't born here, and I remember I heard you say one time that you got the privilege of knowing how it is being a foreigner because you didn't grow up with this all the time. Like you was in Africa, you know what I'm saying? So you coming from that, like how does that feel? Not just to see you, but just like everybody in the sport that is African, just like prospering right now.
Man, it's dope, man. It's like it's super inspirational, but at the same time, it's also something that I kind of expect. You know, you follow Charlemagne?
Yeah.
He got a book that talk about like black privilege, like the privilege of being black. I see that same thing with being a foreigner. There's a lot of things that you don't get to see unless you're from a place that's not as good as here. You know, because the people, when you're born surrounded by gold, you just think it's something that's supposed to be there.
Yeah.
But if you come from outside and walk into a room full of golden plates, you're gonna be like, holy shit, what the hell is this? You know. So a lot of people that are born here, which is not their fault, and there's no disrespect to them, people don't see the opportunity that this country presents, you know, until you come from a worse situation and you step in here, and it's like everything look like gold. That's why it's not just MMA. It's like whenever you see us Nigerians, that's why you always hear our name popping up in random things, because whatever we see and we direct our attention to, we taking that jump 100%. Yeah. And hopefully it's something positive. But sometimes it's negative, and we take that 100%, you know. But it's the opportunities that you see when you come to a country like this. America is a damn good country, you know. The people that are born here, though, sometimes hard for them to see. That's why you see a lot of complaining about, hey, this. Of course, it could be better, but when you come from a different situation and you see what people got here, like, oh, wait, I could come from nothing and be a millionaire one day. Yeah. Like, man, that joins a whole different feeling. That's why I said it's expected.
See, I have a whole bunch of Nigerian friends who are women, and we always joke with each other. Like, I give her some African jokes, they give me some American jokes. But one thing I've realized, like, not even on the joking side, is that Africans, for the ones I know at least, I want you to expound on this, but the Africans that I know, they view themselves differently than Black Americans. Now, like how do you, like, what's the thing behind that?
So I think is because back in the day, it's a lot different now, you know. And I like to blame, a lot of it also comes from what the Black Americans here was fed on TV. Because a lot of us, I'm not going to lie, I went through it too. When we first got here, like, I ain't know no white people, you know. I came straight to PG County. If you know anything about PG County, it's black as a mug. So the only type of opposition or static you get is going to come from, like, another black person, like the African booty scratcher jokes and stuff like that. And like I said, it's not their fault because it's just what they portrayed on TV to them. Like, they'll show Africa on TV and show, like, all jungles and stuff like that, you know? So, like, things like that will make you secluded. So it'll make you, like, take pride in, okay, I guess I'm not one of y'all, you know, I'm African. And, like, especially, like, me coming up, like, it got to a certain point where it's like, man, you start feeling embarrassed, you know? It's like when you get all the African booty scratcher jokes and stuff like that. And then, like, luckily enough, I don't know when the pivot came, but, like, in the past couple years, like, especially when I started getting to, like, high school and when I started feeling pride in myself and, like, where I come from, I started seeing it change too. But I think that's because like the black people here started accepting like their roots more. And I don't know if it's the internet or what it is that changed it, but people even like just the community in general, like all of African Americans starting to accept Africans more, and it started becoming something cool to see. Like you see people going back home trying to find out where they're from, doing their ancestry and stuff like that. So I think that's what, I can't speak for all Africans, but that's definitely what it was for me.
You know, it's crazy what you just said. I never thought about it like that, but you just said that when you came here, you didn't really know white people like that. You just went straight to like a black, part of town, and you would expect the black people to like understand, but you got black people roasting you for being black, and it's like, whoa, that gotta like mess with your mind a little bit.
Yeah, I'll be fake if I try to act like it was like a smooth transaction, It's like, but I know what it is. I don't take no offense to it, because I know what it is. Is the stuff that they portrayed on media. Because now when I go to when I see like my little cousins get here and stuff like that, and they tell me about how school is, it's completely different from when I was in school, because now it's super acceptable. Like people think it's cool. Like, oh snap, you're from Nigeria. I saw that on TV. They saw the real Nigeria on TV. Or you're from this place in Africa. I saw that on TV. I saw that on Instagram. I saw that on Facebook. Like they're seeing what our country really is, and they're seeing like what our people really is. They're not asking you if you're running with tigers or stuff no more,
And it's crazy because like me and you was growing up, the two black nationalities that I would see get like crucified the most would be like the Africans and the Haitians. Africans and Haitians got it super bad. But now Africans are cool. You got the whole Black Panther thing. Everybody, Africans cool. Kodak Black is making everybody want to be Haitian, because I'm from Florida, so Florida got a big Haitian population. When Kodak Black came out, before Kodak Black came out, everybody was like, they will lie about being Haitian. Like, I'm not Haitian at all. I'm whatever. Now that Kodak Black is out, people that's not even Haitian is Haitian now. It's like, what is going on? So it's popping now, like you said.
It's dope. That's what makes things like seeing like Stylebender and those guys like achieve stuff. Like even me, like where I'm at, because like soon, especially when you go back home and you see like the little kids like saying, "Man, I want to be like that guy. I want to be like that guy." Like people be proud. Like I said, like when I was real young and you be facing like bullies and stuff like that, you start trying to like hide that you're a Nigerian. You know, it's only natural. You're a kid. So stuff like that's natural. You're gonna do whatever you can to protect yourself. But if you can make someone be proud of who they are, man, that's just a bonus.
Now it's interesting you bring up the Stylebender, because I was watching that fight this past weekend, and I was scared, man. He came out pop locking and doing the B2K dances. I was like, hey, man. I was like, you better win this fight, because if you lose, you know they was gonna be on his head about that. So when he got the KO, man, I'm like, when you seen him come out dancing, were you thinking that too? Like, man, I hope he win this, because it'll be very hard for him, because you know how people gonna be on him.
Yeah, man. I always with guys like him, I'm always gonna root for my own, you know. But like you said too. Now I was worried. I don't know how familiar you are with MMA. Don't get it twisted. Robert Whittaker's nice. Yeah. Like the dude he did that to, that dude's nice. So like that's what I was more worried about. I don't care about the pop locking and stuff like that, because that's Izzy. Like that's Israel. That's just his swagger. He's gonna be calm and do his thing no matter what. But he put on a show, boy, and he made Whittaker look easy. Like them people that tuning into that fight for the first time, especially the same thing when Usman won his belt and he beat Woodley, Like these dudes, these are solid dudes that these guys are making look like that, Like you tune into that fight, you think they just threw him a bone. But he went out there and put on a show.
But Whittaker hasn't lost in years. Like he's been winning for like a minute now. Like so, yeah, I'm very familiar with Whittaker. I'm like, yo, he's a beast. Like he's not, because like you say, if that's your first time ever watching a UFC fight, you like that was an easy match for him. Like why'd you even throw that to him? But nah, he's that good that he made it look easy. So it's scary, man. It's scary. And you being like, I guess just watching that, I know you say a lot that inspires you, like just to see them being, one of you, that inspires you and whatnot. So like, do you have any goals set for you? Like this time next year, do you want to be a certain place, or are you just letting it roll? Like how are you looking at your career right now?
I always try to plan my goal. When I was coming up, the main goal was, hey, we're going to be in the UFC. Like we're going to be there. When we get there, then we start following the path, one fight at a time. So that was always my mindset from as a kid, So even now as an adult, it's hard to break that. I'm always looking at the next one. It's like I try not to plan so many fights ahead. So like I put my full focus on the fight ahead of me. Even like my family and my girl and all them people, like when it's fight time, they already know my life don't exist until the day after that fight. Like anything that they got planned after that fight, it's like I ain't worried about that. Let me get to the fight, you know. So right now, the only goal I see is getting a ranking after this fight. As soon as I get that ranking, then we can start chasing the numbers up, you know. It's like, let me find the person ahead of me. Let me find the person ahead of me, and then we get to the belt.
Let me tell you why I think you deserve a ranking off top, man. So like I said, after I seen you on the Cormier card, I was like, let me just, watch his fights and just see what he's about. So I'm sitting there watching, like, majority of fights. And it was just one. It caught me off guard. I was like, this might be the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen. You fighting dude, forget his name. You catch him with one. He fall down. You hit the Harlem Shake, it looks like. You just, I was like, did this nigga, bro, I felt bad for him. I went to fight you for him, bro. I was like, this is crazy. So I have to ask you, where were you at in your mind after you knocked Brow? He's not done. Like, he's still up. You like, I don't care. I'm finna, and you went to whoop his. I'm like, what? So I need you to break that sequence down. That was wild, bro.
Hey, all right. If you've been training like as consistent as I've been training, there's some things I know when I throw, that jump is over. It's like he might not be knocked out, but I know like the fight is over, you know?
Yeah.
And like the feeling of the connector, like this is the thing that people don't understand. Like if you don't fight often, there's a certain feeling you get when you just turn somebody's head. It's like it don't feel hard. It's like the lighter it feels, the more you know that jump is. Like if you just hit it and the person's head just go, like you know that jump's over. They're not getting up. So, like, as soon as I slipped on the inside, that was actually the second round. And it was the second round of my pro debut. I always say, hey, you only get one chance to make a first impression, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, the first round, I filled him out, you know, I got to work. And then I was like, you know what? Let's go shut this jump down, you know? So he threw it. And I watched a lot of video on him. And I'm a big studier, you know? I study all my opponents. I always know he throw that same combination. He throw that little jab, and then he dropped his right hand. As soon as he threw that jab, I was like, and I slipped to the inside, came up with that hook. As soon as it landed, I was like, oh, this is over, you know? So my plan was to just dance, you know? So I danced, right? And while I'm dancing, I see out the corner of my eye, I was like, oh, this is still like switching, you know? So you gotta turn the dance into like a little moonwalk dance and so that's how that came together. My plan was to just dance and walk off. It's just I'm just lucky I saw it out the corner of my eye that he was still kind of moving a little bit.
That made the fact. I'm glad he didn't know that because that made it even more fire. That the fact that you was Harlem shaking and he's still up, like he not over yet. And the fact you're like, oh, he's still, and I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Yo, you hear me?
Yeah,
oh, yeah, you broke a little bit. But yeah, that's crazy, man. So yeah, I think that was like one of the things where I'm like, okay, I feel like he might be one of them. Who won't be one of them ones? Like I am 100% sure. Where we are, October 2020, October. You definitely gonna have a rank by your name, even if it's 10. You definitely gonna, you know what I'm saying? People definitely gonna remember your name and whatnot. So yeah, I'm there with you, man. I'm definitely right there with you, man.
Nah, for sure. Like I said, it's just a matter of time, man. And like even from the reaction I'm getting from the UFC brass, they know they got something special. I just gotta wait my time. I just gotta be patient.
Yeah, hey, like I said, I'm right there with you, man. And you're a talented guy, man. Even outside of MMA, I checked out your podcast, man. You got a good little podcast on your hands. You know what I'm saying? I would listen to him. You're a multi-talented guy. You commentate for the Cowboy Cerrone thing. I'm like, I see you guys. You know what I'm saying? So is that something that you want to like do a lot? Like show your multi, you know?
I don't plan on fighting forever. You know, it's like most of the people now, like this sport has been around long enough for all of us to see the blueprint.
Yeah.
Like you gotta have an exit strategy out. So like watching the people that I looked up to, and like the talking and like interviews and podcasting and stuff like that just comes natural to me. You know, I've always been good at dialogue. Like even though English is my second language, I never had a problem with just talking, and I could convey my feelings very well. So that's probably what I'm gonna do. I'll even like to get into like some type of acting, if not acting, voice acting. You know, like stuff like that. So the podcast podcast right now is like just something small that me and my brother do on the side. And then it's like when I have a fight coming up, then I get a lot of eyes on me. And then they're like, oh, let me check out his podcast and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, all I got to get is get like 5 or 10 people that are going to stay solid. And then they just keep coming back and coming back. That's how I built my fan base on Instagram, you know? It was just like every single, once in a while, 5 or 10 solid people will show up. And they're like, oh, this dude's kind of cool. And then they just stick around. And then now that I'm in the UFC, it kind of blew up to where like when the UFC will post you, a bunch of strangers will show up. And like I'll be making like freaking like anime jokes and movie references, and like that y'all just go over people's heads, you know. They're like, oh man, this guy's so cool, he's strong and blah blah. But my core, my day one people, they'll be in the comments, they'll know what I'm talking about. But the new guys, they just go right over their head.
Nah, you got a lot of good takes, man. I definitely agree with your Tekashi stance. The point where you were like,
yo, thank you, man. Yo, these dudes, man. I just got into an argument. You shouldn't have brought that up. I literally just got into this argument. I just got into this argument again 2 days ago at the gym. I was like, man, y'all talking about dudes that are like pieces of shit. I don't care what happened to any of them. I was like, you were talking about honor amongst thieves. I'm like, man, get all of them out of here, dog. That's such a. You just hype me up real quick. Right?
No, because I look at it, it's like, when you look at him, you said it. Like, do you really think he was going to be like a solid guy? He was going to stand firm and not like come on, man. Like, come on. And then I feel like you got to look at the dudes that run the Bloods. Like, y'all shameful letting him in. Like, why did y'all even let him in? Like, so you right, man. You know what I'm saying?
Chasing a bag. If you're willing to put your honor down for the bag, what makes you think the dude that you brought in for the bag is going to be able to hold y'all down?
That was their fault. It was their fault, 100%. Like, for even letting him basically get in the group. Like, it was no way that was going to end good. Like, in no type of alternate reality is that going to end in, like, a perfect scenario at all.
Yeah, so. I just saw Academics post something about he might get home in a month. I put a joke on Twitter because they came out with all this press talking about some he's not going to take what's the protection, what's that junk called?
Protective custody?
Yeah, he's not gonna do that. I said that's the first thing I would announce too if I was gonna take it. Like why you gonna? What type of craziness is that? It's like, yeah, if I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna scream out loud that no, I am not taking it. So y'all can go around looking for the redhead dude with the tattoos on his face while I'm chilling in Wyoming somewhere.
Hey, like you said, that's definitely not a smart thing to do. Oh yeah, I'm definitely getting protective custody. I'm going to be in Idaho. Come look, like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah, come on, dog.
Nah, and I feel like because I see you talk about rap because your brother don't listen to rap like that, right?
No, he don't.
See, and I see you talk about rap, and I feel like you should definitely. I feel like there's not enough how can I say? There's not enough UFC personalities in rap. Like, I feel like as many black people that's prospering, we all need to just get together and, do our thing or whatever. So yeah, if you can somehow finagle your way in the rap world, not even saying rap, but just talking about it being like definitely
that's one of the jumps that the UFC is actually struggling with, because we have like black stars in the UFC, and that's like a good point that you even noticed that, but the UFC is still having a hard time getting into urban culture. Yeah. Because like it hasn't became like an urban thing yet. Even with how many black champions we've had, there'll be a few people that'll be able to cross over a little bit. But I know like Willie was on the Breakfast Club and Israel was on the Breakfast Club, but like it still hasn't become something big in like the black community. Like I'm from like I said, I'm from PG County. Like when I'm just walking around regularly outside of the people that like watch UFC like that. It's just chill. But as soon as I just switch neighborhoods and I'm surrounded by white people, there's like, oh, Super Sodiq. Like you just gotta literally cross over like an hour away, and it's a whole different type of feeling, So that's still something like you said, we gotta get into that community, not just necessarily rap, just anything, like just make it cool to black folks. Yeah, I mean, boxing is that, like, boxing is cool to black people. Like you gonna have like so many people at like. Just think about like the amount of rap bars about boxing versus like specific rap bars about UFC. Like, I knock you out like Deontay Wilder versus I knock you out like Usman. Like, that's not you know what I'm saying? So I really hope that becomes a thing where like rappers start giving UFC like
Like, just imagine, like, your favorite rapper mentioning your name in a bar. Like, that's always cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, I hope that becomes a thing one day, man. I definitely hope that becomes a thing. What do you think is, like, the fix for that? Like, how do you think that, like, I don't know, like, how do you think that becomes?
Honestly, I think it is guys like Israel. Like, I don't want to just keep giving him the hype, but it will be guys like him. There was a little while when I don't know if you know Kevin Lee, but yeah. he was is a dude from Detroit, you know, and he was doing his thing. The thing that's all.
Now you good.
But Kevin Lee was doing his thing for a little while too. But it is stuff like going on Breakfast Club, like little things like that that's gonna get the eyes that aren't necessarily focused on the MMA just to tune in. Because MMA is one of those sports. Once you see one, you're kind of in forever. You know, yeah. It's like the thing is just getting them to watch it. That's why they be sending all these fighters to like these morning shows and stuff like that to get Middle America and get like the white folks to watch. But they gotta give that same type of attention to just these other platforms. Right now, the only thing that I have seen them do is the Breakfast Club. But there's little stuff like the Adam 22s, like them little type of stuff. Those go a long way too.
Yeah, that's a fact. I mean, hey, I feel like they might need you. Like if they have like a hip hop committee in UFC, they might need you there, man. Because like you said, like even the littler people or even the smaller people that's not Breakfast Club, you know, the other people that do have hip hop platforms, that will still spread UFC. Because a person that might not ever watch UFC pay per view in their life, they might see that interview and be like, you know, I like this guy. Let me just watch the pay per view and see what happened, and they a fan forever after that.
I know this is talking about the other company, but what Bellator is doing is smart. Because every like 3 or 4 times now, I've seen World Star just put up their picture. World Star ain't putting up Bellator for no reason.
Yeah.
Like they can't pay to do that junk, you know. But it's a good investment, you know. And every time they pay somebody to do it, they'll put up a dope highlight. It'll be a dope highlight, or it'll be a black highlight. You see, like, so like they're smart. They know what they're doing. So little things like that go a long way.
Hey man, hopefully one day that is at the level where hip hop or just like you said, black people in general are recognizing the UFC or just MMA in general. But before we get out of here, I got a couple things, and then we got some fan questions, and we'll dip out of here. Gotta ask you this just because I am a Florida native and I'm going for the Florida native. Who do you have in this Masvidal Diaz fight? Gotta ask you.
That's a tough one, man. I don't have. See, the thing is when you get into the part where you're in the same position as these guys, it's hard to root for one person, except for like things when it's like my own people, you know. So like when it's 2 strangers, I don't really root for one person or the other. If you ask me who do I think will win, dang. The thing is, Nate looked real good in his last fight.
Yeah.
But man, Masvidal was one of the people that I watched growing up, like trying to copy you, like Jorge, you know. So man, dang, that John. Let me see. I don't know, man. I don't know. Because Masvidal chills a lot. Like, he's like, the same swagger he has outside the cage is the same joint he bring into the cage, you know? So he will lose a decision off of not getting beat up, but just chilling.
Yeah.
So so I'll probably have to go with Nate because of that. Because Nate is like the exact opposite, where Nate just run the numbers up. Like, no matter what's going on, he's going to run the numbers up, you know? So that would be the only reason why I would pick Nate. But it's a close one. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to act like one person got it over the other.
It's going to be a good one. It's definitely going to be a good one for sure. But my last question, I heard this, and I was like, man, I got to ask him about this. I heard that you have 16 siblings.
I heard this. I was like, oh, he's about to ask me about my brother and sister.
I heard you had 16 siblings. Now, I am an only child, so when I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
but when I was about to say, one thing that I heard you say that you grew up in a polygamous household, which is also really different from me. So I just want you to talk about the polygamy and the 16 siblings. Like, how was that growing up? That's crazy.
Yeah. It was super dope, especially like growing up. Because back then, like I didn't know it was something strange, you know. Because even in Nigeria now, it's starting to be not as common, you know, because everybody got the internet. These girls ain't going for that. Like they see how people are living in like other countries. They're like, ain't no way I'm about to share one man.
Yeah.
So that's a lot. But when I was a kid growing up, it was starting to become less and less common. But I just thought it was cool, like. we'll represent like a whole like soccer team, like just our family, and we'll play everybody else in the neighborhood, you know. And like growing up with 16 brothers and sisters, and I'm the second to the last, is like you always had somebody to protect you, and like they also disciplined you too, you know. I never really got like spankings or stuff from my mom or my dad, because before I got to them, you had to run through like 5 other people first, you know. So the problem never really got to them. And back then, it was like they were kind of raising me, and then you see mom and dad at the end of the day. And then like with the parents, it's like it was mostly all love, you know. But I say I ain't gonna do that, John, you know, because it's all love with the kids, but at the end of the day, like, man, women are gonna have static. Like, you know how women are. No matter what you say, like, people will try to paint it however it is. Trust me, somebody that was that grew up in it, there's gonna be a little bit of static.
But
it's definitely something I still appreciate. I still got one of my moms passed away, but I still call all of them mom to this day, and all of them are my brothers and sisters. You know, like we don't even say like stepbrother, stepsister, or nothing like that, because like they'll take offense to it.
That's fire. That like I feel like Africans, they're just like, you know, it's like a family. Like you say, even if it's not technically family, y'all still build like a family. I think that's fire, bro. I think that's definitely fire. Couple of fan questions and we're out of here. World One asks, ask him who's in the top 15 that he'll like to fight.
In the top 15, believe it or not, I actually don't know the ranking of my weight class. But I don't. Before I called out Prawn, I think he might be in the top 15, but he gave that jump like no attention, you know. Yeah. And like I said, I don't got no vendetta against nobody. So if I throw the bait out and you don't catch, man, I'm like, all right, but we on to the next one. So right now, my main thought is just on my next guy. Like I can't talk about it yet because the UFC ain't release it, but I'm just focused on the guy I got in front of me.
Okay. Last question was from Ampavelli. He says, always wondered what them MMA dudes be eating. So I guess you want to know like your diet, like what you eat.
When I'm in camp, trust me, when I'm out of camp, I go nuts. So like, so trust me, that's because when I'm in camp, it's so like strict, you know, like chicken breast with like no skin, eating almonds and stuff like that, and like. Man, it's so restrictive, especially because I'm pretty big for my weight class. You know, I fight at 145, but I get big. You know, like I fought in Cali last time, and they told me from now on I can't fight there no more at 145 unless if they got somebody watching me the whole week because I came back in too heavy. I never have a problem with making weight, you know, but I'm a pretty big dude. But just long story short, the answer is we eat boring shit. That's what we eat. A lot of stuff that you don't want to eat.
So right now you in that boring phase of food?
Not yet.
Oh, not yet.
I still got a little bit of time. So right now I could slack a little bit. I can't go crazy, you know, but I could still eat more than I want to. But like towards the end of camp, I'm talking about 3 ounces of chicken breast, 16 almonds, and like stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about. Like literally like the 2 weeks before the fight.
Do you have a meal that like when the fight is over that you like I want to eat this, like I've been craving?
Yeah. You already know I'm trying to get an ice cream sponsor right now.
Yeah, talk about it, man. Shoot it, man.
I'm going straight to I go Haagen-Dazs, Ben and Jerry's. I recently the Halo Top. I don't know if you know the company Halo Top. They recently sent me like some golden tickets for like free ice cream. But I'm trying to get a Haagen-Dazs or a Ben and Jerry's sponsor, you know.
Nah, I feel that. Is there anything else you got to say before we get out of here, man?
Nah. Hey, thank you for having me, man. Like I said, I'm always down to have some dialogue, you know. So it's super cool. I wasn't super familiar with the website, but one of my teammates said, you know, he was like, man, that's one of them little underground hip hop websites. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Which is a new one, you know. I don't think most of the outlets I usually do always have something to do with like MMA somehow.
Yeah. Well, that's something I realized. Like I was going back to look at your interviews, and I was like, maybe I'm wrong, but I was like, everybody that interviews him is a white man. I was like, I feel like he'll like it if it's a black dude interview. It feel more at home, you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
I had a couple of black people. I had my boy Kenneth and them. They're black, but like you said, there's not a lot of them inside the like the media concepts of MMA. There's not a lot of them that are doing it. Oh wait, I would say if you're watching this, they can follow me on all my social medias and my YouTube page. Like I said, I do like a little small podcast with my brother, but it would be cool to get a couple more subscribers on that jump. Everything that I have is Super Sodiq. Everything, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter is all Super Sodiq.
I'm linking all of that in the description, so they don't even gotta try to find it. They can just click it right there. So for everybody watching right now, I appreciate that. And by the way, you're my first MMA related person I've ever interviewed, so thank you for that. I think that was a really good one. So for everybody watching right now, say what I mean what I say. Haters gonna hate, players gonna play, and y'all holla at your boy.